Hello, hello. Okay, wanted to do a video today about horses and treats. To treat or not to treat? That is the question, okay? And when I say treat, I'm talking about snacks. I'm not talking about treating a horse if they need treatment, like medical treatment or something like that, obviously. So, this is a bone of contention in the equine world, all right? A lot of people love treats. They love treat training their horses. I am not one of them, okay? Why, you might ask? Because how much fun is it to sit there and treat your horses and have them really excited about carrots and apples and, you know, sugar cubes and all the other stuff, molasses treats and everything else that people give their horses? Well, all of that within, I think within the right setting is wonderful. Well, maybe not sugar cubes so much, but regardless, why do I not treat my horses when I'm training my horses? Well, it's very simple. I have seen too much negative behavior from horses when you are working with treats, okay? I know I'm going to put some stuff in your ears, my boy. These gnats are terrible today, so I already fly sprayed him, but I've got to put some stuff in his ears. Anyway, back to treats. So why don't I treat? Well, because these guys have been raised in a herd of horses, and whenever you bring a bunch of treats to a herd, you are swarmed, okay, by all the horses. And it just really creates a dominance issue, and oftentimes they end up like fighting for those treats. They're kicking, they're biting, and that is not behavior that I want to instill in my horses. Even when they are not in the herd, okay, and they are one-on-one with me and I'm working on training them, I've noticed that if I've got those treats in my hand or in my pocket, they are so focused on those treats that they don't really care about the connection, the horse-human connection, okay? Because it's not about what I am asking them to do with my energy and you know, connecting with their energy and connecting with their mind and their heart. It has nothing to do with that. All they are focused on is getting to that pocket or getting to that treat, because they know where they are. Like if they're in your pockets, they're just like dogs. I mean, they know exactly what pocket to go to. Then they're, you know, they're kind of running up on you. Lots of times they're pinning their ears because they want the treat. They don't. It just, in my opinion, it takes the focus solely off the training and only puts it on that treat. And I don't want that to happen. Here's the other reason I don't use treats. Is what happens if I'm out in the woods somewhere, or I'm on a trail ride, or I'm way 15 acres down on this farm and I need a horse to come to me, or I need a horse to yield at hindquarters, or whatever. I need to get to that horse to put a fly mask on or something. I'm not always going to have a treat in my pocket, okay? I need that horse to respond to me on a different level without always having a treat for them. I want their treat to be my affection, my, you know, my attention, my relationship with them. And all my horses, I mean, they follow me around like crazy on this farm. Even the ones that aren't my horses. I mean, I can whistle and pretty much every horse at this farm will come, you know, and there's a reason for that. It's because I've developed a relationship with them. The other day, Cutter, who isn't even my horse, I didn't have treats in my hand. I didn't have anything. Well, Cutter is the boss. He's the boss here, okay? And I needed all the horses to go down and stand under that pavilion under there because I knew a storm was coming and I didn't want them out in it. So basically, I didn't have a halter. I had no halter in my hand. I had no treats in my hand. But because I have known Cutter for, you know, 11 years now, I was able to literally, I mean, I was standing right here. Cutter was here, and the whole rest of the herd was back here. And I knew that if I could get Cutter, then I would have all of them, okay? So I basically just walked up to Cutter, and I was like, Cutter, come here. And he was standing over there, and he came right to me when I called him. And then I just directed him. I said, come on, I need you to come down here. And I kind of just, I clicked at him and clucked at him. And I was like, come on, you know, and he moved right with me. And we went all the way down, and Cutter stood under that pavilion. And then every other horse came down and stood under that pavilion. And it wasn't because I had a sugar cube in my pocket, you know. It wasn't, like I said, I didn't even have a lead rope with me. But he understood that I needed him for a job, and he did it because we have that relationship. We have built that mutual respect together. And then, you know, as soon as I got Cutter down there, Shakespeare was right behind us. And once we got those two, the whole rest of the herd came. But that's because I know my herd, okay? I know who the boss of the herd is. I know who the second in command is. And I know how to move the herd because I've watched their behavior. I've sat with them. You know, I've watched who's higher up in the hierarchy. And I understand their language, you know, as much as I guess anybody can understand their language. So, but if I had to, I mean, what if I hadn't had that relationship with them and I needed to move them? No treats, no halter. I mean, I would have been out of luck, you know. I couldn't have done that. And I promise you that I couldn't have done it. Like, we've got that new little, that new gray mare down there, and we've got that new paint mare. They've only been here a few months. There is no way in the world that if I had needed those horses to do something for me, that they would have done it. Because they're not, I don't have that relationship with them yet, you know. They don't know me well enough yet. They don't trust me well enough yet. But once a horse trusts you, you can pretty much get it to do anything. I mean, they're very, I mean, as long as, you know, you've got a decent relationship, I have found anyway that you can really get them to cooperate with you on multiple levels that you'd be very surprised. So, you know, I have no problem with treats, if in the right situation. Usually if I give treats, I will throw them in the feed bucket, or when I'm done training a horse, I will bring them back out into this paddock. I will take them off lead, and then I will give them a treat, you know, but I don't, or off their halter, and I will give them a treat, like as a reward. But honestly, folks, I want the biggest reward for any horse to be this right here. I want my hand and my voice and my words and my energy to be the reward for that horse, because that's what horses, that is how horses live. They live with energy, okay? And that's how they live within a herd. It's all energy driven. I see you, my boy. It's all energy driven, and that's how they communicate. That is their language. I mean, you don't see horses giving each other apples, okay? That's a human construct. And I'm not saying that apples aren't wonderful to have, because they certainly are. But I want to speak their language as much as I can. I want to develop that relationship with them in terms that they can understand. And I don't want to have to, quote unquote, bribe them to get the results that I'm asking for them, you know, their cooperation, their partnership. And that's really all it is. It's a partnership. It's an ask and a give. And, you know, I hope for their sakes that when they ask things of me, I am able to give back, you know. And they do. Sometimes they need help, or they need something done, or they have that look in their eye. It's like, oh, please, you know, put some fly spray on me, or help me, or, you know, and I really try to give back to them as much as possible. So, you know, it is a symbiosis. It's a two-way relationship. And I hope that you guys out there who are watching this can develop that relationship with your own horses, because, you know, they really are just absolutely incredible beings. And there's not a whole lot that they're not willing to do for you. You know, they've got huge hearts. Right in there is one of the best places in the entire world. So, anyway, hope this helps as to why I am not a huge treat giver. Like I said, they have their place, no question. It's just, for me, it's not when I'm doing regular training with them. I don't mind giving a reward after the fact, but not as a part of my training. So, hope that helps. If it does, please hit all those 4 buttons: share, like, comment, and bookmark. Really, really, really helps us, helps these horses, and we'll be able to put hopefully more engaging content. All right, take care.